I'm happy to see you all here. Usually only for the rules and that kind of stuff. So a lot of our parents and kids, they do it online. You can watch it on YouTube. So we're gonna try to make this short and sweet. We also had at range day. So we usually have a activity for the kids outside, but today we're gonna be picking that because it's wet and whatnot. So we're going to first cover all of our staff here. We are gonna go over behavior policies, and then next we're going to take questions from you. We usually go over all of the payment terms and that kind of stuff. Most of that's already included in the agreement that you all signed. So if you want to refer back to any of that, or if you have questions on that, you can ask those. But you can refer back to your summer camp form for all of those kinds of terms and what. So first off, my name is Mark. Already said that. This is Mr. Steven. We have many more staff, but because of the weather and other things, a lot of them weren't able to make it here today. But you will see more staff when if you drop off kids and that. We have about 6, 7 full-time staff here. Not full-time, we have full-time staff here. We'll have around 10, 12 for camp counselors. Okay. We usually limit the number of campers per week to around 64. So that gives us a very good ratio of counselors, staff. All right. So starting over here, we're going to start with Xavier. I'm going to have you guys say your name and then something that you like. And all of our counselors here, by the way, are previous campers. Some of them have been here 5+ years. Some of them have been here since we started. I think Eli right here, Eli and Jonah have been here since kindergarten. So they're really experienced. They know about our programs, how we operate. So your guys are in great hands. So go ahead and start, Xavier.
So Silas.
Hello, my name is Mr. Steven. I've been here since day one. This is fully open, over a decade worth. I run a lot of the activities as well as planning for a lot of the course of the summer camp.
And that is Arrow, my daughter. She's an aspiring counselor, but not a counselor yet. All right, thank you, everybody. Let's give him a hand. Okay, so we're gonna jump right into our behavior expectations and policies. So we operate on a system called PLUS. There's the Principles of Level Up STEM. And what that means is that we want to build a community here where it's not about trying to stay out of trouble, but trying to focus on how we can do good for each other. So we really focus the children on what the expectations are for their behavior, not what you should and should. Because we feel that when we're all focusing on being kind to each other, we don't have to focus on doing things. So we have 6 expectations, and then we also have 6 behavior violations. We found that when you look at those expectations and violations, it kind of sums up any kind of behavior that a child that's negative and positive. And every single child is somewhere on those. We have some children that are extremely gentle. Sometimes they might be disrespectful. We have some that might be irresponsible, but a lot of sometimes they're really respectful. So it's about understanding where each child's strengths are, weaknesses are, trying to help them strengthen those weaknesses, and then really lift up those positives. So those expectations are responsible, cooperative, respectful, decent, heroic, gentle, and safe. So our I'm gonna just stop right. So the staff here is dedicated to patients. One of our principles, or one of our guiding principles, is that we don't want to punish anybody. We just want to follow the rules. So with that thinking, it means that instead of trying to punish them off the bat, we're going to ask them to do what we need. So our first one is responsible. Okay, we think about that. We're thinking about if you drop something up, if you make a mess, you clean it up, if you take something out, put it away, that kind of thing. Making sure you're not having negative impact on those around you. Then what that goes into, you put books like on the bookshelf, put all of your things in your cubby, not on the floor, not on top of them. Eat neatly, and then clean up after you. We understand that sometimes you might not be able to clean up a certain mess, and in those cases, we're just going to ask that you let one of us know. Okay? We want you to do as much as you can in order, because it helps out everyone. Can we get that light right there? So our next principle is cooperative, and that's working together with others, and also making that something that you're always thinking about. So a lot of times when we have a negative behavior, we don't think about it in the context of if everybody did it. Kind of like somebody is just with one beside them. What if everybody was whispering everyone beside them? So what that means when we think about cooperative is thinking that I need to follow the rules that the group is following, because if everyone, doesn't follow the rules, a lot of times that means that it's very disruptive. We want to make sure that when we are thinking about that, we discipline ourselves, we tell ourselves, I need to stay away from things that might disrupt others, like talking when you're not supposed to, or making noises, or those kinds of things. So when we look at that, when we're having snacks, or other times when we're trying to instruct, participants should be silent. We're not allowed to talk while a team member is talking. We ask you to talk. We ask you to stop talking. We want you to do it the first time. Okay? If you need to ask a question or request something, all you do is just raise your hand. We'll call your name, and then you'll be able to tell us what you need. We shouldn't make noises that are not necessary. Kind of like if I was standing up here tapping like that. That's not necessary. I want to stay away from doing things or making noises that be distracting from others. And sometimes you'll be assigned to certain seats or groups or rooms based on the activity. We ask that you don't leave those groups or rooms without. And then also, you'll be participating in a lot of different activities here. So we expect that if you're in an activity, then you're going to do your best in that activity. Now, sometimes you might not be able to. You might have maybe a stomach ache or something else. If it's like that, then we're going to allow you to. It's more important to sit out at that point. Okay, so there are some reasons that you might need to sit out from an activity, but otherwise, we want you to really join in and be part of the activity. You're not allowed to use equipment or different things that are designed for instructional use. Focus during the activity and don't do things that are unrelated or might disturb others. And then you'll have a scheduled snack time and lunch time. You must eat that snack and lunch during that time, because after those periods are over, we won't have another time until later on. So say for instance we're at lunch and you're like, well, I don't really feel like eating right now. You'll only have that lunch time to eat. You can't, once we transition to an activity, you can't say, oh, I'm hungry for lunch now. You have to wait until. So respectful. That means following directions of those that are in authority. That's going to be the counselors and the staff here. And also it means respecting others when it comes to their body, their space around them, and their things. You should refer to all the counselors here as Mr. or Miss. Well, we have Mr. Xavier, Miss Jasmine. If you need something, say please. Then once it's done for you, say thank you. And also, all of our staff here are training the exact same. So we're not asking, we're going to say please to you and thank you to you. Expect the same. If we ask you to stop something and we say that's disrespectful, stop it immediately. Usually disrespectful comes when we're asked to do something and we don't stop. And then that's when it changes from being what we call disruptive into disrespect. Approach conflicts with humbleness and understanding. What that means is that a lot of times we have conflicts, and it's not because somebody wants or means to do something wrong to us. It's because sometimes people just want the same thing, and there's not enough to go around. Okay, kind of like two people walk into a store, or two kids walk into a store, and there's only one pack of Pokemon cards left. Okay, they both want the Pokemon card packs. That doesn't mean that the person is trying to be mean to you. All that means is that you both want the same thing. Okay, and so we shouldn't, just because somebody wants the same thing or we have a conflict, doesn't mean we should look at them and say, you want to be mean to me. We should look at them and say, they probably didn't mean it, and we can work this out. We can try to understand each other. Okay? So anytime something happens, don't get upset. Look at it as, I want to understand why this happened. Don't behave in a way that might make other participants not be able to best. One big rule here: do not touch anything that does not belong without asking, and then please don't touch any of the models. Okay, and it's the same for you. Over the summer, we'll be building a lot of different models. We'll be working very hard on them. And if somebody just goes up and goes, "Ooh, that's nice," and they just touch it and it breaks, then you would probably be pretty upset. That's why one of the biggest rules: please don't touch the models, whatnot. Because also you can make your own too. So if you see something you like, you can just say that and just try to build it yourself too. Our next principle is decent. That means you behave in a way that is appropriate for your age and your community. Okay? So that means that we don't use inappropriate language. We don't do inappropriate dances, body movements. We don't talk about other people's bodies. We don't talk about things that are that maybe your parents gave you a privilege to play something or watch something, but most of the time your parents will know, hey, they'll tell you, I'm allowing you to watch this because I believe that you are mature enough to do it. That doesn't mean that everyone around you is also mature enough. So, say for instance, your parents allow you to play Fortnite. Okay, that's rated T for teen. There's a lot of things in there that, you know, if you're mature enough to play, your parents don't want that. That's okay, but don't come into level the summer camp talking about I was playing Fortnite and I was doing this and that. Don't do that. Okay, so respect your privileges. A lot of times too, if parents hear that you're going around talking about this scary movie you watched, they might say, "Ooh, you might not be mature enough to watch this," or bragging about it. I don't know any adult that goes around bragging about watching scary movie because it's a scary movie and inappropriate, it's rated R or something like that. I don't think adults do that. So if you're mature enough, you should not feel the need to brag about that. If we ask you to stop saying a word or phrase, tell you it's inappropriate, then you immediately stop. Doesn't matter if you believe that it's inappropriate or not. It's what we are telling you is inappropriate or not. Because there's a lot of things that sometimes you may hear or see on the internet or other kids do. You might not realize that it's not appropriate for you to say or do. We discourage parents from allowing the kids to bring devices to the facility. A lot of times we don't allow them to use devices on their own, like to go and sit down somewhere, start tapping away. We want them to really engage with other kids socially and to make new friends. And we find a lot of times that those acting only devices that we have here for them are in the context of them using them together with somebody else. If you have a child that's in, let's just say that's in the fourth grade or above, they can bring their device to do the prodigy competition. Otherwise, I would very much discourage them having a device here unless they need it for some kind of like medical reason. And definitely they're prohibited from looking at anything inappropriate on devices. And if you so also if you're going to play online game like say Roblox, there must be a parent account. Okay, that's there's a law about that. There's also rules about that. If we catch you with an account, playing on an account, not have a parent's account attached to it, you will not be able or allowed to play anything. Okay, big rule. So don't go on. I think only hexagoners are allowed to use computers like that, fourth grade and above. But don't go on Roblox and say, I'm going to make an account real quick, play Roblox with somebody, because immediately it'll show us, boom, into your parents' email, and we will know that it's an account you made personally, and it's not an account you made. And then if we tell you that certain things are inappropriate, then we expect you to follow that, not access. One going down. Now, most of those last things are having to do with kids that have personal devices to make sure that they're not using player access. Our next principle is heroic. And that means that you act in a way that is meant to bring in people from the community, have them join in, okay? Or make them feel safe and welcome, right? That means that you should want to include others in activities or conversation. You should not want to embarrass anybody. So maybe if someone trips, you shouldn't be going, ha ha, are you okay? I'll tell only the truth about others. And the truth is that if you don't know something happened, if you didn't see it, then you should not say it. It's okay to say, someone so told me. That's okay. It's okay to say, I think I heard. Okay. It's not okay to say, so and so took something. How do you know that? Well, I just think he did. Okay, that's not okay. You want to say, I think that may have taken something. That's fine. But if you say something happened, you need to make sure that you know it happened. To cheer others, to address others in the way they want to be addressed, not make fun of situations involving others. If somebody tells you something personal about them, that you know that if somebody else would find out that it would hurt them, don't tell it to anybody else. If you feel that it's an emergency or something that somebody should know, you should tell one of our staff members. But you shouldn't tell other kids about or other campers about things somebody might feel is personal to them. Don't lie about other campers. Encourage other campers who struggle with speech. That includes there may be many kids here that talk differently than you, sound differently than you, say words differently than you. They might even have accents. You should encourage them. Never makes fun of the way somebody is talking. Stay away from causing fights or conflict. If you notice that anybody is being bullied or they get hurt or anything else happens that you don't know how to solve, ask a team member immediately. Okay? Our next principle is gentle and safe. That's acting in a way that is meant to avoid making others feel uncomfortable or that could hurt others, yourself, or break things. That means that we respect the personal space of others and we avoid contact with them or touching their bodies that might make them uncomfortable. We're going to act in a safe way that we can stay away from hurting other people or getting ourselves hurt. If you feel like you're upset about something, let a staff member know, and then, or you can separate yourself from others or things around you. I know a lot of times when we feel upset, it might make us a little bit more sensitive, and that might mean that we feel like maybe we want to take it out or express it on somebody else. Maybe we feel like hitting something. So if you feel that way, tell a staff member and separate yourself from things that you might want to take that aggression. Make sure you use everything the way that we direct you to use it. And then don't use anything that might put you in. So next up is our discipline policy. After that will be the behavior violations. And we call these the violation consequences. We have split them into 3 different levels. Level 1 violations are usually defined by being unintentional. The person you're not trying to do it on purpose. You may have even not even noticed that you kind of like went talking when you're not supposed to. Sometimes we just forget about things and then we may break the rule. That's what we is a level 1 violation, and these violations do not cause harm to anybody else. First one, these are also all the options that our staff have to handle these. So go down. So level 1 violations can be addressed by any of our counselors. The very first thing is request to do / stop. We will tell them, give them a command, or we'll ask them to do something, and then we will tell them what the rule they're breaking is, what the consequences are, and then so they understand why that rule. We no longer do physical exercises that used to be from leaving stuff and whatnot, but now we just use responsibility and say, hey, you left this, please pick this. Because honestly, we had it for lost and found, but it didn't work that well, so keep going. Level 2 are usually violations that are intentional, and they do not have harm or breaking things. So we have 6 different options. The only staff that are allowed to do level 2 violations are staff that are level 3 and above. So that's going to be either your 4th or 3rd year counselor. There will also be a head counselor that will be able to take care of those 2 violations. And of course, our staff. So there's follow the leader. That's usually for our youngest kids. Sometimes they have a issue with staying still or following the rules, so we may ask them to follow us around so that they can see what we do. Next is a conversation of understanding. We take them off to the side and talk to them about their behavior. They understand how their behavior is affecting others, and then what they can do to control themselves. Time to reflect is usually followed. Time to reflect is where we put them off to the side, but with the group. That can be for any number of reasons. Maybe they have a self-control issue, so we give them an area where they can be within view of the activity, but not with it. Then usually follow that up with a conversation on community service. That can be picking up Legos, straightening the bookshelf, just those kinds of things. That is usually when a child has been disrespectful. Like we ask them to stop talking, to keep on talking. We ask them to stop talking again, to keep on doing it. It's like they really don't follow directions, but then after a while. So we may assign them community service if it took them a long time to follow directions. Delayed free time. So after the regular camp is over, we do have free time. But if they have some kind of behavior violation, then we may delay their free time. And usually that means that after everyone else has been dismissed for free time, or maybe no free time, if possibly maybe they did something, and then we have some community service or time to reflect, and that may interact with or give. Level 3 is usually that the violation was intentional and it had harm or something was broken. And that has 3 options: request for pickup, suspension from the summer camp program, with that say, or expulsion. Go and go down. And then keep on going. Stop right there. So I'm the only one that can hand out a level 3 violation. That's pretty much it. So no other staff or counselors can do that. And that's usually a last resort. We don't usually have anyone reach level 3 because we don't start with punishment. We start with the expectations. So, but just in case anyone ever gets there, that's what the. So we will, during camp, we'll be going to places like the pool, field trips, park and coordinating all the campers together is pretty important. So we have these rules that you follow for riding on the vans. Follow all directions of the team members. After you enter the vehicle, have a seat and buckle up as soon as possible. Very first thing you should be doing is buckling in. You shouldn't be talking to somebody else or pulling out something from your pocket and looking at it. You should sit down and immediately buckle in. No talking on the vehicle. Now there are some vehicles where those in the vehicle are so behaved and respectful that they are allowed to talk, but as a default, no one is allowed to talk, so we can clearly concentrate. But if mostly the whole camper vehicle gets to a point where they're very, very cooperative and disciplined, then we may allow speaking. But usually what that looks like is that only one person talks at a time, and then once the person is done talking, someone else can talk. There is no eating allowed on the vehicles. Don't play with any of the buttons or the doors or any other thing. Do not put any body parts out the windows. Most of you guys can't do that because you those up. They're also not allowed to. Do not throw anything, make unnecessary noise, or do anything that can distract the driver. Do not leave anything in the vehicles. And I'm really going to stress that. In the past, we have found like Game Boys in there and posting it up. No one came to claim it and that kind of stuff. So it's almost like, make sure you don't bring anything, or don't bring anything that's not necessary on the vehicle. We don't want you to lose anything. Kids lose things every single year at summer camp. Every single year. In fact, if you have not lost something, I would say you're a champ. Okay? But don't bring anything that's not necessary. I don't want you to lose anything. All right, so now we'll go on to the violation types. And just like the principles, the violation types are simply the opposite. Okay? So we had responsible. The opposite of that is irresponsible. And you'll also see that the violation types are divided into levels as well. So you can see that these are level 1 violations. So level 1 consequences would apply for not following these directions. As you go down, you'll see that the different violation types have different. So we consider irresponsible behavior level 1 because it's usually not intentional. You might have a 5-year-old that gets done eating, they look around them and they have cracker dust all over or something like that. That's not intentional. Or they might be reading a book, they ask to use the bathroom, they come back and they don't realize they left it there. That's not intentional. So that when we have those, all it is a request to do something or something. Same with disruptive behavior. Most of the time it's not intentional. So same thing, it can be talking. You're not supposed to leaving an area, making noises, not eating your snack at the right time and then trying to eat it later on. It's disruptive. We'll ask you to just stop. Or I move into disrespectful behavior, level 2. And I will say that usually disrespectful behavior is something and comes from something irresponsible or disruptive, and then they're asked to do or stop something and they keep on doing it. That's when it becomes disrespectful. And it's intentionally meant to say, I'm not going to follow those directions. It can also be to other participants when somebody says, hey, please don't touch my stuff, and they touch it anyway. So it's simply, if or asking you to do something and you stop doing it. Someone asks you to do something in a game, but you don't stop doing it. It can even, be you're playing a video game. We've had kids that are playing Smash Brothers, and then someone else is about to win, so they quickly press the home button or the pause button so they can't win. That's disrespect. Next one is inappropriate behavior. Also level 2 violation. Of course, the opposite of decent behavior. Pretty much already gone over that. Bullying behavior. Opposite of heroic behavior. Level 2 violation. We put up bullying into 4 different types. And then we define bullying as intentionally trying to cause somebody to be uncomfortable. The whole point is that the person is enjoying somebody else either being fearful of them or annoyed with them or any number of. So if it's the intention to make somebody else feel bad. And we divide that into social emotional, that is communal and authoritative. That can be excluding somebody else on purpose, embarrassing somebody, going to a team member and telling them something that is not true. You're trying to use authority to bully another child, or you're trying to use the other campers to make someone feel bad. Okay? That's what we call it, communal and authoritative. Verbal bullying. That can be jokes, rumors, gossip. Who knows the difference between rumors and gossip? Your accounts. Yeah, pretty much. All right, let's give him a hand. He knows the difference. So if you hear something about somebody and you don't know about that, you should not be telling those things. Or if you tell those things, or you shouldn't be trying to talk about people. You hear that so did this, blah blah. So don't talk about people and don't tell information that you don't know is true. Don't make fun of the way a person speaks or acts. Next one is cyber. And that can be creating an account that's meant to be about somebody else. That can be like playing Minecraft and continually like destroying somebody's house. It can be a lot of different things that all involve the computer video. And then there is physical, hitting, pushing, shoving, kicking, also damaging somebody else's possessions or taking their things, and they ask you to give it back, and you say no, make. So those are all different kinds of bullying. Yeah. And then there's physical behavior, which is the opposite of gentle. So there's inappropriate touching. No one is allowed to. You can do things like maybe a handshake or a hug, but you shouldn't be beside somebody holding hands or things like that. Okay. And then there's also, we call it physical harassment. That's touching somebody without their permission. Okay. Our bodies are our property. Okay. And we have authority over our bodies and our space around us and our things. So we want to respect everybody and follow the rules when it comes to their bodies, space, and their stuff. And then they can do the exact same. There is physical endangerment. This is reckless behavior. And that is doing something that they've been told not to do and they won't stop, or something that can put others in danger. Kind of like two kids pushing each other in a rolling chair, or a child is leaning back in their chair over and over again. That's reckless behavior that can body, or themselves or break something. And then there's physical violence, and we split that into two different categories. Individual, that is someone is operating on their own to do it. Then there is cooperative or mutual. Cooperative is like you could say two kids physically bullying somebody, and then mutual might be two kids that are like, I'm gonna fight you, and they're like, oh, I'm gonna fight you, and they start fighting. Okay, so each person here is responsible for their own action, and if you come to us and tell us that somebody that we catch you doing something, and then you say, well, somebody else was doing it too, that changes from an individual violation to a mutual or cooperative violation. That means that you've admitted that you were participating with somebody else in doing something that you knew was wrong. Now, a lot of times we might see you doing something. We might say, please stop that. We might not see the other person doing it. So the right thing to do is not to, oh, they're doing it, I'm going to do it too, but to, they're doing it, I'm not going to do that, I know it's wrong. Or you can just raise your hand and let us know if they're doing something that, is violating your respect for yourself. Okay? But you should not get involved with somebody and they're doing something wrong, because saying they're doing it too, it won't work. All it will do is mean that you've gone to a higher level of violation. Okay? Don't get to that point where you have to say that somebody else told you to do it or somebody else wanted you to do it, because that's the point where you knew it was wrong and you did it anyway. Go ahead and stop. All right, so that is all of our principles, expectations. Those are all of the violations and then the violation consequences. Are there any questions on that part? Yes, ma'am.
Again.
Mm-hmm. It may not be, what it is, but if they go and hug them and like pick them up or something like that, that might be considered kind of like, okay, don't do that because you could drop them or reckless. And we've seen like, there sometimes there's like, the 4 and 5-year-old ones in the bunch, right? Everybody wants to hug them and that kind of stuff, but at that point, I was like, treat them like a camper. They're here just like you are, not a baby. So it's kind of like putting it in the context of treat each other as friends. Don't treat younger kids as toy babies. Here you go. So. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so none of the triangle younger kids have access to. Okay, so the triangle, this is their, I could say, homeroom in here, and all the games here in consoles are Mario, Minecraft, that kind of thing. Now we do have some kids that have other room, the hexagon room. They may have access to Roblox, but their accounts have to be set up and checked correctly. So that's 4th grade up. Because I understand what you're saying. My daughter plays Roblox and whatnot, and you have to set up their account with the parental control on it. Have to set it up so that they're only allowed to play within a certain age range. people, and there also has to be that they have the Roblox now has the firm ID, that kind of stuff. So whenever you create an account as a parent, then you confirm that you are the parent, confirm that your child is the Arrow. You're the one speaking now. Okay, well, we're not gonna. That no, that really wouldn't be allowed here. So, thank you. We're gonna do a fist bump or something like that, but we're not gonna run around and hold hands. That can get out of control really quick. Any other questions? All right, so I'm gonna give a quick overview of how our camp works. We do what's called the Nexus Team Tournament, and then what that means is that each week the kids are put onto a team of 4, and then throughout that week they will compete in 5 different activities to earn points. At the end of the week, we tally up all the points for the teams, and the team with the most. Don't have to go back and miss that. Don't. That's not on there. Let's close out. So 5 different activities. Their team earns points. At the end of the week, we tally up all of the points, and the team with the most points wins for that week. Okay, so the different activities. One is, we call it brick craft, and then that's called the chopping block. So their team will work together. They'll teach them a technique. They will work with their team to incorporate that technique and a certain theme into their model. They'll have 3 different sessions to do it, or dedicated sessions, on Monday, Wednesday, and then Friday is their last chance session. But also, if they're here during, we call them upgrade hours, which is another name for extended care, it's after 3 o'clock. If they're here for those hours, they are welcome to work on our model as well. Most kids choose not to. Some kids choose to. Most of the kids that choose to work during that time have some models up there, are essentially winning models from past summer camp from all different ages. So, and you can kind of see the techniques in there too. Like, we teach them how to make a spear, how to make a trap, how to get the anatomy of a bug. There's different lessons, different times. And then also those lessons will build on each other each week. Okay, so it's more of like I call it progressive, where if you, the what you're learning in week 3 is very different from what you learn in week 7. So somebody that's attended consistent weeks is going to have a little bit more under their belt than someone that comes in for 1 week here or 1 week there. Okay. Also, we try to put more experienced kids on each team, so that we don't have a team, full of maybe those who have just started and maybe don't know as much as other kids do. Also, we distribute the kids by age throughout the teams. So first, we're going to choose captains, and then we're going to pick the first oldest kids, and they're going to pick from those kids, and then the next oldest kids, and then down to the youngest kid. So there's going to be an even distribution of ages among the teams, so each team has the best chance to come out in all of our different competitions. We also do Beyblade as a competition. We call them physical combat sports, and that is laser tag in a game called Wizard's Chess. And then also the Pokemon trading card game. That's for those who are 4th grade and above. But for the younger kids, Triangle, we usually do a tabletop game. And it's Jumanji style, where they have to finish the game together. Okay? Now, if we do have kids that are... Usually you can start playing the Pokemon TCG from 2nd grade, because you can read. By 3rd grade, you are really good at reading. Sometimes if we have kids in Triangle we may allow them to play Pokemon instead of the tabletop game, or we may sometimes move some third graders from Triangle to Hexagon if we need to even out things. So just because they're in Triangle does not mean they cannot play the Pokemon TCG. It just means that their group has a different activity that's more appropriate. The next competition is esports. That's video game tournaments. That is the only time we play video games during our camp. All the video games are geared towards 4-player competitions so that we can have, 2 from each team and a lot of them playing at one time, the whole entire group, instead of a lot of kids sitting off to the side waiting for them. For those games, Triangle and Hexagon have different games they play, but most of the time, the Triangle will be doing stuff like Super Smash Brothers or Mario Kart, maybe Nicktoon Racers, just that kind of stuff. But we'll switch it up each time. Sometimes during the latter part of the camp, we have what's called a Grand Prix, where there's a different game on every system. And so when you choose competitors and that kind of stuff, you'll be competing at a different game each round. That's how all of our activities are structured, and that whole tournament thing. You can look at it as kind of like if you grew up with Nickelodeon during the summer games and whatnot. That's how we have it sort of structured. And then in between that, we do our park day, we do our arts and crafts, we do our field trip, and the pool. Now, this year we sort of changed the arts and crafts, or we formatted them. Sometimes we'll be doing an art and craft that is based around food. Okay, and that may be, last year we did a burger craft where the kids could make their own burger and then watch us roll and that kind of stuff. We may add in a different foods this time. So it's not just them being sent home something. Sometimes it's an experience that will offer them. And then also that allows them to learn how to serve as well. Anybody, any other questions? Arrow? It's a bit more than just good reading. Okay, but it's on it's up to each kid. But you're not in kindergarten anymore. So that's okay. Anybody else have questions? Yes. Okay, so it's a lunch and 2 snacks. It's listed on the website and that kind of stuff. But it's lunch and 2 snacks, and then younger kids a change of clothes, and then also water bottle. On pool days, it's a wet bag, which can be a grocery store bag or a Ziploc bag. It's basically a bag for their wet clothes, and then a change of clothes and a towel. Okay, and they should come here either in their swimsuit or with their swimsuit on underneath their clothes, because there's usually not enough time to go in the bathroom and change, and it can really clog the bathroom up because only one child is allowed in the restroom. And of course, on any day we go outside, sunscreen. Mm-hmm.
So if a child is
Mm-hmm. I mean, a person can attend 1 week and still enjoy it and that kind of stuff, because it's not necessarily. It's just if you the more weeks you attend, the more techniques you'll know, and the better you can be able to build. But it's like the difference between learning how to build a chair versus a storage container versus a a table. So a person that goes 1, 2, 3, they might be able to say do all three, but a person that only goes one, they might be able to do one. So it's not that it's going to, they're all separate, but if you did all three of those, you could build a nice dining set. That's the kind of difference. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Probably.
So only our staff are allowed to administer, and when I say staff, I mean you'll see our full time staff are only allowed to administer any kind of medications, pens, that kind of stuff. Whenever we go out anywhere, we have a medical bag that we take with us. Everyone's pens or inhalers and that kind of thing if they need it. We are trained to administer that pen as well CPR and that kind of thing. And then, but is it so? Usually, if it's a vicinity sort of allergy, then we'll try to separate them from our kids. But if it's more like, okay, if they ingest or eat this thing,
Yeah.
it's just okay. Then exactly, none of the kids are allowed to share food at all. Period. Even among siblings, because we've had in the past where one sibling will eat all the other child, and then the other child will have none, and then so that's a problem. And then also, kids can develop allergies at any moment in time. So we don't want them to be given something from another child. Say, oh, can we want to trade this? And then that has a reaction. So there's no sharing food at all. Anybody else have a question? Yes. I think I did correct that. What was the last name? Yeah, I think I did correct that. I noticed that the one that was in the lower grade was older. I was like, okay. Yeah. Yeah, so I do go in and check all the information just to make, yeah, because some people use the date this year for the year of their child. Yeah, and I'm like, your child's months old. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I can definitely check that again for you. Arrow? Arrow? Well, most of the time, parents remember to pack the snacks. If some parents make the child responsible to pack it, so they should pack it. But if your child, for some reason, did not have a snack packed, we do have gummies here, and we will be able to give them that. Because I do. So it's a good question. I do know that some kids there is sometimes it's forgotten. And on the same breath, I think this is a pretty good thing. Um, Lunches. If you forget a lunch, you can always order to have it delivered here, or we also will have ramen available, but that does take a little bit more time. I do encourage all parents to pack a lunch that they can keep in a lunchbox that does not need to be heated or prepared, because we have had situations where, maybe 10 kids have ramen, and it's pretty unfortunate if you're the last kid. We do have two microwaves. We try to do it as fast as possible, but it can still take time to prepare the lunch. So just know that if you are packing something that has to be prepared, then it's going to take longer for your child to get it. And if you do forget something, let us know. We gummies are just in there, but we do have an option here. In the future, there may be more options as far as like things they can eat, stuff here, or snacks they can buy. But for right now, it's just those. Okay, so every child is considered what we call a red band. It doesn't matter if the parents tell us they can swim or not, they're all gonna be red band. Okay. And then they have to pass a swim test when they go to the pool. So we have fully staffed pool, lifeguards on duty, that kind of stuff. And if they don't pass that test, then they stay on red. Okay, so and if red band means they're not allowed to go into the deep into the stay in the shallow area. And then green band are those who have passed the swim test. And we have each child has a designator on their profile, lets us know if they're red band or. So,
When-
yes. So if the rule is if they are under 8 years old or under 80 pounds, they need a booster seat. Now we do encourage their own personal booster seats. I would always encourage a personal booster seat because kids do make messes in booster seats, but if they show up and they don't have one, we have some extras, but we want to make sure they have their own. They're not sitting in maybe someone who, didn't have a towel or something like that. And now it's all wet with. Arrow? Thank you. I'm not too sure about that, but be taken care of. Okay, thank you. Anyone else? You think of anything we haven't covered yet? Oh yeah, one more thing. From drop off, which is at 7 a.m. up until about 8:30, 8:45. Those are upgrade hours, so there won't be any activities. You can drop them off at 7 a.m. if you want to, but that time is for reading and math practice. We do also have a math competition that we do here, and it's Prodigy. For the hexagons, they do it on their own. For the triangle, we do group Prodigy. In the past, we've had it that if the triangle gets more questions right than the hexagon, then they win for that week. So it's basically, they'll be doing math practice and reading here. We'll also, for those who are younger who can't read, we'll do writing out letters, and then we also have a group reading too for the really young ones. And then after camp is over, we try to get done by about 3:15 at the latest. We'll have a snack after that, and then we'll go into free time. And usually that starts around 3:45 or 4. And then pick up us until 6:30 p.m. And the young ones usually won't last that long, but they have the energy. Arrow? We will cover that later on, okay? Each child is assigned a cubby. So when they come in, they'll go over to the wall, find their name. They'll tell them what cubby numbers. Okay, yeah, so that's a good one right there. If your child is going to be absent for a day, or you're going to be late coming in, or need picked up early, let us know, because let's just say going with picked up early, we might be at the pool, we might be at the field trip, and if you come by to just pick them up, they might not be. So let us know ahead of time. If it's something that's like, that's more urgent, give us a call. If it's something that is more like later in the day, maybe it's the morning and you're like, let me go ahead and message them and let them know I have to pick them up at 1:00, that can be sent over as a message. But if it's gonna be within a half an hour, I would say just give us a call. And also with late drop off, let us know usually for that with a call, because what'll happen is that even like on pool days, we start getting to go and leave out of here, and we're usually gone by 9 a.m. We're not really gone by 9:30 a.m. So if they're here like 9:30, or even there might be one last trip at 10, but if they're here beyond that, there might not be anybody here. So, but if you give us a call, we'll be able to say, okay, go ahead and take them all the way over. Go ahead and take them all the way over to the go ahead and you can drop them off at the pool, or we can say, okay, they're back from the pool at this time. But it allows us to coordinate with you so we can get them. Also, if you call us beforehand, we have had some parents that are like, okay, if they get there or not here, I want them to show to the pool. We might not have calculated them into the passenger. So if you just drop them off, that might put us over the occupancy. So let us know so we can make sure that they have a spot and we can arrange for where they're going to be. And then also absences as well. Let us know, because their team is going to depend upon them to help out. And if, say for instance, there's an absence of maybe 1-2 people, that can mean that team is highly affected by those kids not being there. So if we know about that, then we can sort of like replace or take kids from other teams and put them on that team, so there's a better chance that. Anything else? All right, we can go ahead and wrap it up from there. T-shirts will be available the first week of camp. Those who are attending week 0, we're gonna have your T-shirt here for the tie-dye craft. And for any reason that if we don't get those shirts in by then, we'll just move that craft back. Okay, but if you have one T-shirt and you're signed up for that week, then we'll have to hold that T-shirt back for that activity. Okay. That's pretty much it. Otherwise, you'll get your T-shirts on the first week. And we're gonna be there next week. We'll see you next Monday. Okay. Monday or after that. Arrow? Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, let me. We can go.